Hello, Identify gamers. Wow, I did not know I could get that close to the camera. That's kind of crazy. Anyways, hi. Today it's a Q&A. So a bit of a laid back video. This is gonna be probably a longer Q&A compared to our other ones, mainly because I just wanted a handful of questions. You guys came through with 400 questions. That's a lot. That's a lot of questions. I'm definitely not gonna be able to get to them all, but I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. So let's not waste any time and get right into the questions. Here we are. First question, it's from my own buddy, Santy Devil. He says, why is Melly broken? Why you really like Melly a lot? Do you have a deep history about it, or is it just the style? So yeah, there's plenty of reasons to like Melly. I get this question a lot, and I think I've answered it already in a previous Q&A. But I pretty much like everything that has to do with Melly. Because when I first joined the game, Melly wasn't like the person I instantly was like interested in. I didn't really know too much about her. Obviously, I was still new at the time. I was like, oh, Danganronpa, a prisoner, a Rantaro, this was pretty cool, man. But as I started getting more interested in Identity 5, as opposed to just the crossover, I really was interested in like Composer. And then I was like, this is my soul main, bro. And then I started seeing some entomologist gameplay a lot in tournaments. That was when I started watching tournaments. And I was like, oh my gosh, this character looks so fun. She has like bees and she looks so cool. Like, I honestly think she has the best Survivor character design in the game. So just by like character design alone, she's the best in my opinion. Just extremely, extremely good design. And then I started reading through her lore, and oh my gosh, her lore is so good. I love Melly, dude. I really love Melly. She's a very, very deep and complex character. I mean, I feel like most characters in this game are, but I feel like there's so many different like ways of interpreting Melly as a character, and oh my gosh, I might have to do like a character analysis someday. I might just save it for that. I don't know when I would be able to do that, and I still don't feel like I know everything that there is to know about Melly just yet. But I would absolutely love to do something like that in the future. But yeah, it's just character design, lore, and then obviously the gameplay. Melly is absolutely so much fun to play. The bees are just so funny. And she was just this character that I ranked up with. Like when I started trying to get better at the game, I was Melly. Melly all day. Like a few Composer games here and there, but it was mainly just Melly. Like she's been like the main ever since I decided to try and like get better and better at this game and started taking it more seriously. It's always just been Melly. So I think that's like just the biggest reason. Like just every single thing that you can like think about a character is the reason I like Melly so much. Next, we have a question here from Little Red Fox. First question they say is, would you be interested in a VTuber model? Honestly, at the moment, not particularly. Hikaru asked me this before and I started thinking about it. And I was like, I don't know if I particularly want to be a VTuber. I don't really feel like that's my kind of vibe. I would maybe like try out like an experimental model maybe in the future, but I don't think I would ever permanently become a VTuber. They also ask, would you rather never play Melly again or get a full giant back tattoo of B-Duck? Okay, so both of those are permanent additions. One would make me sad and one would make me miserable. So I would say I would rather never play Melly again. That's very, very awful, but having B-Duck on my back for the rest of my life is so awful. And then like and when I die, people are gonna like look at the tattoo and be like, why? They're gonna be like, what? And like Aesop's gonna be like, embalming my corpse or whatever, and he's gonna be like, B-Duck? But the thing is, at least for Melly, I'd still be able to appreciate her character. I'd still be able to watch other people play her. I would definitely pick that as it's a lose-lose situation, honestly. Their third question is, if Arnold somehow jumped out of your PC while performing a puppet show and asked you to join him, what would you do? Well, if he asked me to join him, I would obviously join him. Literally, Arnold is like the most insane person of all time. So I think that would be quite an adventure. And I would honestly want to see what he does in his free time. Like, cause that man is literally insane. So like what I would kill to find out what Arnold does in his free time. But like maybe he's just the puppet guy. Maybe he's literally just so freaking obsessed with puppets, and that's it. Like he just like he lives, breathes, sleeps, and eats puppets. Like I'm about to see him like start chewing on Smiley Face's head. And he's like, oh, welcome to another puppet show. Like, it's Arnold, bro. It's Arnold. Next up, we have a question from, I'm gonna butcher your name, sorry, Kazera Raiken? Rysan? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Their first question is, do you think you improved in kiting after playing so long? I mean, for a simple answer, yes, but that's just improvements. I still think I have a lot more to improve with my kiting. My routing is still not perfect. I still make a lot of mistakes, but I think I've gotten a lot better. I just don't think I'm as good as I want to be just yet. Their second question is, was there a time where you kited really badly that you threw a match? Absolutely, yes. There are so many matches. I would argue that in about 20% of the games then I throw because I just like mess up. I take an extremely early hit. I get stuffed on rescue. Obviously, I'm still quite bad at rescue. I've gotten a little bit better, but I'm still pretty bad at rescuing. Yeah, I would say like 10% of the matches I'm in, I do well, where I'm confident in. 20% I throw, and the rest of the 70% is like just kind of it's kind of like it's whatever. It could be better, could be worse. Kind of average, I should say. And then 3, what type of character is your favorite? Rescuer, kiter, decoder, assist, etc. I love kiters. I think kiting is just so much fun. Kiting is like where the heart of the game is at, I feel like. It's like that's what people like, right? That's what brings people to the game is the kiting and the chasing. That's a lot more fun. Rescuing is just like, I know some people like it. I really like that. Like some people, it's like you have to be a very confident and prideful person, I feel like, to be rescues, and I'm not a very confident person. Like when I take kite, I panic kite still 50% of the time, and I'm terrible at like rerouting and whatnot. And I really do like assist characters too, but I feel like I'm not really that good with them. Next questions we have are from Haru no Tenshi. They say, hi, I usually don't comment that much, but I'm pretty curious about some things, so hope you don't mind me asking. Yeah, no problem. First question they say is, how did you find your main? I'm currently struggling with it, so hearing it from you will help a ton. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're looking for out of the game. If you're looking to prioritize like just fun, then I would just say pick whatever character you have the most fun playing. If you're wanting to win, you're gonna have to find a character that's somewhat high up in the meta. For me at least, like I still main Entomologist, and luckily Entomologist is like still, she's not really that meta anymore, but I feel like she still can work. She has very, very strong matchups, but in the current meta, she's a little weak. But she still can work. It's just really tricky. She's not great anymore. She's probably like a low, high tier character, high mid tier at the moment right now. She's not in the best spot. But I still have a lot of fun with Melly. And I think that's what's important is you just pick the character that you have the most fun playing and you just keep playing them and you just try to master that character. You know, there's like still a lot more stuff that I need to work on as Melly, and being on that like road to improvement, I think is really, really fun. So yeah, if you're just playing for fun, pick whatever character you want. Even if they're like low tier, let's say you like love playing Mind's Eye, then go ahead and play Mind's Eye. But if you're really wanting to win and try to like get better, you have to start looking at the meta, and you have to find a character that is strong in the meta. And also you find to be fun. I would personally recommend something like Acrobat. I think most people find Acrobat to be really, really fun. And he's one of the strongest survivors in the game. So I maybe like try to start with Acrobat, maybe branch out from there. Their second question is, how did you get introduced to the game and why do you continue to make content about it? How'd you find out about it and what keeps you playing it? Yeah. So I answered this before, but I started playing the game when the Danganronpa V3 crossover happened. I really like Danganronpa, and I saw like a little post about like a crossover and like a game that had like a Coraline sort of art style, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks really cute. I'll give it a try. I'll play it on my gaming channel. And so I did. I played it for about 2 months, and I was like, dang, I actually just fell in love with the game, and I just made my own channel on it. And why do I continue making content about it? Well, simply because I really like Identity 5. I think that's pretty simple. Their third question is, do you intend to make videos of other things like other games, vlogs, lives, or even music? Yeah, I mean, I actually have a ton of other channels, not of which are all active. I think of the channels that I have, I'd say about 3 are active. This one, my Zeez OG2 channel, which is almost at 100,000 subscribers, by the way. We're getting really close. In that channel, I do like reviews on cartoons and movies and whatnot. And then I have a Fire Emblem channel where I talk about Fire Emblem gameplay. I have like just a standard gameplay channel, which is awful for the algorithm, but I still play games on that. And a couple other ones that nobody really cares about. But yeah, if you want content made by me outside of Identity 5, just take a look at some of my other channels. There is way too much content on them. There's probably enough content for you to watch for about 2 years, I would say. Next up, we have a question here from J Dearest, and they ask, first, have you dealt with hunter anxiety before, and how did you deal with it? I don't really think I've ever had hunter anxiety per se, because I've never really been too anxious to play hunter. I've had hunter frustration a lot. A lot of the time when I try to like branch out of hunters that aren't Night Watch, I always get bullied, and it always becomes really, really frustrating because the survivors like don't really take me seriously, and that really frustrates me because they just kind of like run circles around me, and I feel like I can't do anything. And when you're trying to make content, bro, it can get really, really frustrating because you're just trying to have like a game where you're trying to showcase the character's abilities in a way that's like, hey, I'm not doing terrible. Like, I don't have to win the game, but like at least I'm showcasing the abilities all right. But like, I try to showcase some characters' abilities, I just get cooked. Like whenever I play like Axe Boy or Wu Chang, bro, I can barely even use their abilities without the survivor just like memeing on me. And that can be really frustrating. So I would say I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with that hunter frustration. I would honestly say something that I've done is on my Smurf account, I've practiced hunters on like lower tiers. That way I can start getting used to their like controls, their game plans a little bit better. I've started practicing Gamekeeper a little bit on a lower account, and like Gamekeeper feels really, really strong on a lower account. But like there are some times where I even get kited by low tiers, and it's like, dang, these guys got me. So I guess it's just like take it at a slower pace, and just remind yourself that you're trying to improve and don't try to go for wins. I think that's the biggest thing Aaron said was don't think about winning, think about like the long term. Cause like I get really caught up with the short term like wins and losses, especially when the survivors are like emoting at me in the game. Like that can be so freaking frustrating, and it's like they're not taking you seriously, but like it's hard, but you have to just ignore it for short term. You kind of just have to be like, all right, bro, you're memeing on me. You'll get me this time, but I'll get you back. You know, I'll get you back. That's all you can really say is just try to think about it in the long term. And again, that's something I struggle with myself too. Second question is, since I've seen you talk about Bungo Stray Dogs, who is your favorite character? I still haven't finished. I've only seen season 4, up to season 4. I still need to finish season 5. And I have seen the little spin-off, what was it called? Bungo Stray Dogs, like itty bitty shorts or something. I forget. It's something like that. But I would say my favorite character at the moment is probably Akutagawa or Octagawa as the dub pronounces it, because I watch it in dub. I just really like him. I think he's just like so edgy and like he's just I love him. I really like Chuya. I love Dazai and Rampo, bro. Rampo is actually like he might be my favorite like coming up here soon. After season 4, bro, I absolutely love Rampo. Like Rampo is so good, bro. He actually might be like the favorite. I still have to finish season 5, but I think Rampo might be. It's just kind of funny how like Atsushi is kind of shafted in his own series. It's funny. Anyway, their third question is: do you enjoy drawing or writing? If so, could you show me some of your work? I have shown some of my work on some of my different channels before. And I think I'm probably going to keep it that way. If you want to look at some art that I do some art sometimes on Zeez G3 that is linked in the description below. It's like my personal channel where I don't really care about the algorithm. I just like upload podcasts and do art streams with my friends sometimes. And as for writing, I'm not really entirely sure. I did just release a corpse ride video on my second channel. It was like a bit of a video essay, so that's something. And I did used to try and write like short stories and novels in the past, but I haven't really worked on them for a while. And as opposed to like just straight drawing, I do have a sketchbook, but it's a bit private and I don't think I'm confident enough to show it just yet. Next up, we have a question from K Kerr. The first question they have is, are there any more characters that you're going to get S1 with? Well, I already got the S1 Psychologist, that was first. S1 Melly is kind of being put on hold for now. Because ever since Rivals invited me to play in the upcoming Persuadable tournament, I've just been practicing a lot of my rock hiders. I've been practicing like Gardener and Psychologist mainly, and a little bit of Entomologist. So I think I'm putting like the Melly quest on hold for now until that tournament's over. I'm really just prioritizing getting good at like a decent amount of characters, so I'll have like a good roster for the Persuade tournament, because there's going to be a lot of global bans that are going to end up happening. I can already guarantee you Psyche and Gardener are going to be on there. So I need like a couple more rock hiders, probably like Barmaid or something. And I'll obviously have like Melly, Composer, but honestly, there's not really going to be too many other options that I can think of at the moment. But for characters that I want to get S1 with specifically, it's going to have to be obviously Melly upcoming. I want to go for Coordinator. I want to go for Composer. I want to go for Novelist. I want to go for Antiquarian. I'm thinking about Knight, but I'm still not sure. And then as for Hunters, I would definitely just want to go for S1 Night Watch. And maybe S1 Fool's Gold or something in the future. I don't know. Probably just Night Watch for Hunters right now. I still haven't really found the next secondary hunter that I really, really want to start investing my time into. I tried Naiad for a bit, but she kind of just falls into the same like draw territory as Nightwatch. I don't know. I feel like I need a different hunter to like start experimenting with. I was thinking about Opera, but she's really, really tough to play. And when you mess up, it feels bad, bro. It feels bad when you mess up with Opera. And for their second question, they say, do you have any pets? And the answer is, at the moment, no. Back when I used to live with my sister, we had a cat, and she was very, very cute, and I loved that cat. I called her Cat, even though her name was Carol. And she's doing well. She's been catching mice from what I've heard, now that she's at a different home, where there are mice in the basement, unfortunately. And she's been doing good. I miss that cat a lot. I really do. I can't wait to go pet her a bit more when I go back home for Christmas break. Or, well, I don't really have a break since I'm a YouTuber, but, you know, for Christmas, whatever, for the holidays. Then 3, they ask, what would you like to see in the Identity 5 future? So that's a bit of a vague question. I'm not really sure what they mean by this. I would personally like to see at least a few things if we keep things general. 1, I would love for the NAU scene to grow a lot. I'm really hoping that the new, like, what is it? Like the new, like, Roblox? Not Roblox. Like, people are calling it Roblox. Like, the new, like, IDV maker, like a Mario Maker kind of thing. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Where you like make the custom maps and all that stuff. That's gonna be like really, really good for content. I'm really hoping that'll help get people really interested in it. That would be really, really cool if people start getting interested in the game because of that. And that could even be like one of the main appeals of the game now with that new game mode. I'm really hoping they like work hard on that one. That could be really, really interesting. But I would also like to see just the NAU scene grow a lot more and hopefully get a league. That would be really, really cool if NAU just like grew into the point where they could have their own league on like the levels of like IJL and IVL. I think that'd be super, super cool. Because NAU, as always, I'm just like, I think they deserve more attention. I think that'd just be really, really neat. Next up, we have some questions for Zeus. His first question is, how would you buff forward? And that's a pretty tricky question, actually, because I think forward already has some pretty nice stats. Like, he's got the increased vaulting. He drops pouts very fast. Like, he's already a pretty good raw kiter, but he can't really be used as a kiter because he's a harasser and / rescuer. His decoding just isn't really good enough to the point like where he is. I feel like I want to keep his decoding the same, but I want to make him like a bit stronger at harassment. He does kind of bully like a lot of the low tier hunters, but the current meta, he's just not really that good. So I feel like maybe I would give him... You know, I think you said this in one of your streams. I think it was a pretty good idea. I think if you're using above 30% ball for a stun, he should have iframes. He should have iframes. You can still drop. You can still drop, but you can't get hit. If the hunter swings at you, then he's immune. He's immune. Or maybe he only takes like a chip damage. So it's like, okay, there's still something, but it's like he's like powering through it, you know? Maybe something like that. That would be kind of interesting. I don't really know if that would be like the case, but like, or even then, maybe he has armor, so maybe he still takes the damage. But if you're at full health, you still get the hit. So like, let's say the hunter swings at you, it doesn't cancel the ball animation if you're like doing it for a while. Maybe he just has a bit armor. Maybe that's what I would say. I don't know. It's hard to buff forward. I feel like it's kind of hard to buff forward. I think I would either do the iframes might be a bit much, but I think I'd give him armor. Give him armor on the ball. So he basically like takes the damage, but he doesn't like take the knockback. So you still get the stun off, but for like a trade of your health, you know, I feel like that would be interesting. So like the hunter can swing and hit you and you'll take the damage, but the stun goes off. And that's what's like more important. It'll help him be a little more consistent, I feel like. But the hunter would still be able to drop. So if they drop, well, you're cooked. Next, we have some questions here from Identity Rev. Their first question is, will you ever react to clips of IDV stage plays, episode 2 onwards, and their special performances? And what about past official trailers / songs that you haven't seen yet? For the trailers and songs, that's a solid maybe. I feel like when there's like a dead week on Identity 5, we can maybe do something like that. And then for stage plays is a bit interesting. So in that Corpse Ride video I mentioned earlier, I did talk about the Identity 5 stage play, the Survivor side with Aesop Carl. That was like the story around him. It was like very centered around him and like the themes of death. And it was really, really interesting. I talked about that in that video and I really, really liked it. That's the only stage play I've seen. And the thing is, the stage plays I feel like are going to be kind of hard to talk about because of how strictly they are copyrighted. So I don't know. That's a solid I don't know for the stage plays. If I can, maybe I'll try in the future, but at the moment it's a solid I don't know. Their second question is, has your confidence in your gameplay improved ever since your heart-to-heart video? And how do you currently deal with frustrations over constant losses or mistakes? So, yeah, I still... As much as I wish to say I've gotten better, I really haven't. I think I've been better at reminding myself to, you know, keep that positive mental attitude going, which I really, really want to have happen. I still find myself complaining more often than I wish that I did. But a lot of the time it just feels like, I don't know, man. I just feel like whenever I'm trying my best, I just fail so often. And that can be just really, really frustrating. I think what I've been doing better at is just like after I record or after I do like a stream and it's like I start rewatching some of it, I'm like, man, I need to just get better. Like not just at the game, but I need to get better at like just dealing with like taking a loss, because I think the biggest issue with me, at least as a player, is that a lot of my like content creator friends are just so much better than me, and I'm constantly like, you know, since I'm being teamed up with them, I'm constantly comparing myself to them, right? Like Hikaru Santi is a great example. Hikaru's much more consistent than I am, and Santi's absolutely goated. Like that guy's like a walking 3-cipher kite. He has his mistakes at sometimes, you know, but he's just like so consistently goated. And like being on the same team as Santi can be really, really frustrating sometimes. Not him. It's not his fault. He's just good, and I'm not as good, and that can be really frustrating for my confidence. Where it's just like, that Santi will kite the hunter for like 3 ciphers, and the second they swap to me, I die in 20, and it's just like, great, man, I just threw the game. It's just like, haha, you should have just chased the weakest link and you would have won. It's not great. It's really frustrating. And there's a couple times in Hikaru's streams where I feel like I've just completely ruined the vibe. Sometimes I just get really, really silent, because I tell myself, hey, if I'm only if I see myself that I'm only complaining, I just say, shut up, play the game. There's a couple times that I've been in Hikaru's streams, and you'll see me being really silent, and if that's the case, I'm just like locked in. All I'm gonna tell myself is like, I'm not gonna complain, I'm just gonna play the game. That's it. And that's happened quite a few times, and I really hate it because I just feel like it might get awkward for poor Hikaru and Santi. But it's just, when you're the worst person on the team, it feels rough a lot, because it's just everybody's constantly comparing you to the better people on your team, and you constantly feel like a thrower. So that's kind of where it is. I feel like I have improved. I just haven't reached the state that I want to be in, right? There's just so much more to learn, and I'm just not quite where I want to be just yet. I want to be like consistent, right? I still feel like I'm not nearly consistent enough. I still feel like I make so many mistakes, and there's so many matchup specific knowledges that I just don't know yet. And a lot of it just comes down to experience. I've still only been playing this game for a little over a year, whereas, you know, Hikaru's been playing for I think almost 3 years. Santi's been playing since beta. Zeus has been playing very, very long. So it's like, these guys that are all so much better than me, I just kind of have to remind myself that, yeah, they've just been playing the game longer. It's just experience. It really is just experience at the end of the day. Their third question is basically just like the guides thing. I already talked about the guides thing. Their fourth question is, have you ever had a job before your YouTube days? How did that go? Yeah, I've only really had a couple jobs. One is I used to be a handyman assistant to my friend's mom. She was just like, she would just do like a ton of like odd jobs, whether it be like from landscaping to painting to just all sorts of little stuff. And that was a good job, honestly. I feel like I learned like a lot at that job. And my other job was factory work, basically. It was like light factory work. I was just like in a petri dish factory. We didn't make the petri dishes, but we put like this thing called agar on the bottom of the petri dishes that like helps the stuff that people are trying to look inside the petri dish. It helps it grow, basically, like the bacteria and whatnot. It like will feed off that agar stuff, and it'll help it grow, so that when you look under the stuff in the microscope, it like, it's like, oh, it looks good, it looks pretty good, you know. That was my job for like a while, and I quit it like a year ago, 2 years ago. I quit it around when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, however long ago that was. Is that 2 years? I don't even remember, bro. Time goes by fast. Like a couple months after that game came out, I quit my job. That's all you need to know. Their fifth question is, how do you make YouTube thumbnails? So I actually left a tutorial video on my community post like a couple months ago. I can link that video in the description. It's like just a tutorial on one of my other channels about how I make my thumbnails for Identity 5. Just the simple ones. I didn't really go into like the more in-depth ones, but just my like simple standard thumbnails. I had like a quick tutorial on that. You do need Photoshop for it though, so just know about that. And you can also use GIMP. So you kind of need like a computer and like the right software for like the store to kind of work. If you're just a mobile only person, I'm sorry, I really don't have much advice for you for thumbnails. 6, they say, any tips for introverts who have performance anxiety but wish to get into streaming? So that's a tricky question. I mean, I'm quite an introvert myself, but I think it's just, you kind of just got to get the ball rolling. I know that's usually the hardest part, but I would say maybe do like a couple practice videos if you really want to like, you know, if you're really confident about it, maybe do like a couple of videos and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna practice. Let's just talk to myself, practice. Maybe show those completed videos to a couple of your friends, and then you can try streaming for real and seeing where that takes you. I guess it's just like you kind of just have to get the ball rolling. I know the performance anxiety can be quite a lot, but I feel like with a lot of actors and whatnot, it's usually you get a lot of butterflies before you go on stage, but once you're on stage, you kind of just roll with it and you have fun with it. It's just everything leading up to that point is what, like, where all the anxiety comes from. But when you're actually in it, when you're actually streaming itself, there's not much anxiety. It's really only at the start and before. That's at least how it works for me. I can't, maybe it's not for you, but I would at least try something maybe like that. 7, they say, do you have a favorite trope / type of fictional character? I don't know if I particularly do, but I would say one of my favorite is the gentle giant type characters, where he's got like some big old character, and it's like, oh, they're supposed to be so scary, but it turns out all they want to do is like pick flowers and like look at birds or whatever. I don't know, just like absolute sweethearts that just like I guess I just really appreciate the type of characters that are just like their appearance isn't like important, and that's not like what makes them them. It's just like their actions, and it's like the gentle giant. I feel like is like a pretty standard stereotype type trope character, whatever you want to call it. So I would say that. There's probably plenty of others, but that's definitely one of them. Next up, we have a question here from Pixel Emmy, and they ask, if you could buff / nerf any characters, who would it be? Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like I don't think I'd have any major buffs and nerfs. I think the biggest thing is I would just adjust some cooldowns for some hunters. Like, let's say Anne, her cats are a 10-second cooldown. I think that should be like 12 seconds. I think Night Watch's win should also be 12 seconds, not 13. There's like a whole lot of other things. I feel like Axe Boy's cooldown should be a little bit faster. At least his Restful Road. I feel like his Flame cooldown is fine, but I feel like his Restful Road is a little bit long. I think it's like 18 seconds. I feel like that should be like maybe like 15 or something. I don't know. I feel like they just like help out some cooldowns as well. I feel like Evil Reptilian's jump could be extended, because I feel like Evil Reptilian's doing pretty good in the meta. I feel like his jump could be like, I feel like that character should be nerfed, honestly. Maybe it's can't kite him. I don't know, bro. I really don't like cutting Lizard, but I feel like his jump is just like always up. It's like a 10-second cooldown. It's just, for how strong that ability is, maybe it's just a skill issue, bro, but I feel, for how strong that ability is, bro, I feel like it's just a really, really short cooldown. I would probably give it like 12 seconds as well. I feel like a lot of survivors are like in a pretty okay position. Again, this is just a skill issue. I would honestly nerf Batter a little bit. Batter is just such an annoying character, bro. I would only say, like, just make the, not even like a hard nerf, just make the balls like you could break them faster, because the animation to take the ball to break the balls is so long, bro. It's literally like breaking a pallet, and like that allows like stars to get so much distance sometimes. And he's just incredibly fast. I don't know, bro. He's just so incredibly fast. That's just my beef. Perfumer, I think her buff where she like got that buff where she got like to go back, I would revert that. It's mainly just Perfumer and Batter. Those characters are incredibly frustrating. And as for buffs, I think I would buff Enchantress so she starts with 1 stun. I feel like if you give Enchantress 1 stun to work with, she'll actually just instantly become like a much better character. It's just the fact that she has nothing to work with from the start is what makes her bad. But if she had 1 stun from the start, I think she would already be so much better. Professor definitely needs some work. He definitely needs a buff. I feel like Painter is like in a really, really niche spot, but I feel like I would give Painter like a slight buff. Maybe just like make the painting stun like a little bit longer, maybe something like that, because the painting's not even that good. Maybe just like make it ever so slightly longer. And then for other buffs, I think I would just adjust the cooldowns of some survivors as well. I think I would make Acrobat's cooldown like a little bit longer. Like I think his bomb cooldown is like 12 or 13 seconds. I would bump it up like 1 extra second, just because Acro's just really, really strong. And I think like Entomologist, Gravekeeper, anybody with like a 20-second cooldown on their ability, I feel like they could just bump it up a little bit, because Weeping Clown had a 20-second long cooldown for his rocket, which is like objectively an extremely strong ability, and it's only a 16-second cooldown. That's extremely good, because it was basically like it went from 20 to 16. But Melly's bees, when you put them away, still 20 seconds. Gravekeeper shovel, still 20 seconds. I just feel like you could bump those like a little higher. Like maybe Melly's could go to like 18 seconds, and then Graves could be like 18 seconds as well. I don't know. Just like a slight buff to them, you know, just a slight buff to their cooldown. Doesn't make the character actually shoot up better, just a slight buff to their cooldowns, just to make them like a little more consistent, you know? Next, we have some questions here from Teddy Picker. Their first question is, what are your predictions for Koa 8? Who gets the skins, theme, etc.? Yeah, I've been thinking about it. The biggest thing I have trying to be coming up with like an idea for a theme is I don't know what comes after Koa 8, because it's supposed to be like a continuous storyline, right? So like you had Metropolis, and then you had the space theme, and Melly comes back and then like brings alongside like all the destruction, and then like, but that's the like, Feaster's already the end of the world. Where do you go from the end of the world? Like Feaster was straight at the end of the world. I feel like there was always somewhere to go, like especially at the end of Koa 6, it was like a bit of a trailer. There's like a lead into Koa 7, but we had nothing like that. All we saw was they're just dead. Like they're just dead every time. So like, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna get for the theme. However, for characters, we gotta have journalists and novelists. Absolutely, 100% of the time, it's gotta be a journalist novelist. And I think the hunter is gonna be Soul Weaver. Somebody said it wasn't gonna be because she already had like a limited Koa B tier skin and something that like locked her out of it. I don't know. I think they're gonna do Weaver. That would be really cool. That, or hear me out, they could just straight up drop Nightingale. That'd be kind of crazy. I don't think they would, but they'd add the Alice Hunter Nightingale. That'd be kind of crazy. I don't think they would do that, but it'd be an idea. Because like I feel like for novelists and journalists, your two main characters, you have to have something special. I don't know what they do, but they have to have something special. So yeah, I think for the 4 serves, I would go novelist, journalist, painter, and I think cheerleader. I feel like that'd be like a good combo. And then for the free skin, it would be little girl. Because like I don't really know how you're supposed to put little girl into like the actual lore. So maybe just like make her a free skin. I don't know, because like it's a child. How do you like put the child on? I don't know, bro. I think it'd be like you could incorporate like the novelist, journalist, and like the little girl all into like one thing. I feel like little girl would be the free skin though. So yeah, probably those 4. I'd say novelist, journalist, cheerleader, painter. But I feel like painter is definitely on track to go, and painter definitely needs one. And you have to have journalist and novelist in the same one. Surely you gotta, like, that's just perfect. And if it's any of the new characters, I would say Far Overnight. I don't think they're gonna do Puppet or Finn this year. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're gonna do Aeroplane as Puppet or Finn this year. I'm just not seeing it. Actually, the second question is, they asked, which character do you relate to the most? I mean, that's kind of a tricky question. I don't know everybody's lore, and at the same time, I feel like half the IDV characters are just absolutely insane and crazy and criminals and murderers. So Lucky Guy. I mean, I feel like I think I mentioned this before, but like in terms of appearance, I'm closest to Lucky Guy, and I've always imagined Lucky Guy is kind of like your average Joe kind of character. So I think I'd probably just go for Lucky Guy. I know that's like kind of a cop-out answer, but like unironically, I think I just have to be Lucky Guy, despite not being that lucky when I play video games. I feel like I'm very unlucky a lot of the time. And their third question is, would you ever showcase fan art at the end of videos like you do for your second channel? Side note, is it okay to tag you when posting it to social media? I get a little anxious about that. I mean, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. You can tag me. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be easier for me to see that way. I'd like to see fan art. And then as for showcasing fan art at the end of the videos on this channel, I could maybe do it, but I feel like I'd only want to do it for like bigger videos, right? Like if I were to do like the psychologist video that should be coming soon, like how I got S1 psychologist, I might do it for something like that. But I don't know if I would do it just like on a default video. So I would say maybe. I'll look into that. That's a good question. Next up, we have some questions here from Iwani. Their first question says, the devs said they're going to buff Aesop. What kind of buff do you think he'll receive? That's kind of tricky because I already feel like he's in a really, really good spot in this meta. But I think Warp has definitely made him a lot weaker. I think if they're going to do any buff, it's going to be a very, very small buff. What they're going to do, if you ask me, is that you're going to do one, he's going to be able to act out of his coffin a little bit sooner. So like when you use your coffin, it's 8 seconds before you can actually start doing something. They might make it like 6 seconds or 5 seconds before you can start moving. That, and I think they're going to make the bubble last a little bit longer. So I think you have like you have like the little Garner bubble around you, so you can't get like, you're pretty much invincible for like 5 seconds, I think it is. Then you have the tide turn effect for 15. I think they're gonna buff the bubble to be like maybe 8 seconds, so it's like a puppeteer, like a Lewis basically, or like a Seer Owl. And then they might buff the tide turn from like 15 to like 20 seconds. I don't know, maybe something like that. Maybe something like that. It's just like a very small buff to the tide turner, the bubble, and maybe the act out of the coffin a little bit faster. That's all I can really think of. Because that's really just his main thing. Either that, or maybe they're just gonna like make it so you can embalm other people a little bit faster. I don't know. It's hard to say. Their second question is, who do you think is going to be the next chosen character for the anniversary Truth and Inference? I think it's going to be Emily. I mean, I still don't really fully know how Truth and Inference works, because I know some characters can get multiple skins, but like they're different characters, I think. It's like weird. I know like some of them are like disguises and whatnot. But I think a really cool one would just straight up be Journalist. I think Journalist needs to be in Truth and Inference. I think that would honestly be great. Because she didn't have any Truth and Inference skin yet, does she? I think like Journalist would be perfect. Because we already have Emily with the boat one. Like she was the doctor, or the taxidermist? Taxider? I think she's taxidermist. Something like that. So I think it'd be really cool if they put Journalist. And gave her like maybe an S tier from Truth and Inference. That'd be really cool. Their third question is Ithaca buff when? I want to see my husband at tournaments. No, I agree, dude. I agree. And I just think he needs a small buff. I don't even want something major. I just want something small. And what I mean by small is I just need wind cooldown to be like 1 or 2 seconds faster. That's it. Or maybe wind walk lasts like another extra second. Because like he's a really good draw hunter, but he just doesn't have like the map pressure, right? So I feel like if his chase was ever so slightly better, maybe it'd be fine. Either that, or like his dash, not the wind walk, but like the dash that he gets at first presence. Maybe make that go just a little bit farther, because I feel like it doesn't go quite far enough. So maybe that would help him like pressure down ciphers just a little bit more. But he is the most consistent draw hunter in the game statistics wise right now. So technically he shouldn't be buffed, but I still feel like 13 seconds for his current abilities just doesn't really match up to other hunters like Anne, who has a strictly better ability with a shorter cooldown that she can manipulate to being a 6-second cooldown. So yeah, I think he deserves a small buff. If nothing else, to maybe just like take wind from 13 seconds to 12 seconds, make dash maybe go a little bit farther, or make wind walk speed not like dwindle down as fast. I don't know. One of those 3 things, not all of them combined, but maybe just like one of those. Just a slight buff. But again, he's still in a really good spot, and I feel like before Night Watch, you got to buff, half the cast. He's not going to get buffed anytime soon, I'll tell you that much. I feel like they're not going to touch Night Watch for a very long time. Maybe that, or just his hitbox. His hitbox is also really bad. Maybe just make his normal hitbox ever so slightly bigger as well. Next up, we have a question here from Shamel X Off. I'm sorry, again, I feel like I'm butchering most of these names. They say, hi Zeez, my question for you is, will you continue with the IDV short videos you drew? It's so fun watching them. Yeah, surprisingly, I did not know that many people actually really liked those. I kind of just made them off just like randomly, because it's funny you say that, because I think I've only made 2 Identify ones. For Fire ones, I think I've probably made at least 100. I've made 100 of those things. So if you think they're like the IDV ones are silly, I made 100 Fire ones, bro. I think I would definitely love to do some more. I just feel like I'd have to come up with like just a really silly idea that I think would be funny. So yeah, maybe I'll make one of here. Probably after the Persuade tournament, I can see if I can maybe make a couple more, because I know some people actually liked it a lot more than I thought that they would, because they are really just stupid. They're really just awful, but they're silly. So I can see why it might appeal to some people. Next, we have a question from Vorel. They say, hello Zeez, how do you deal with hate/toxicity from the community or just players? Everyone can have their own opinions, and others shouldn't be mean to you for having one, in the case of the wax artist. Or simply being mean for not knowing something in-game / not being professional. I really hope you're doing okay. If you need a break from YouTube, please take one. Your videos help me reduce my anxiety. Thanks for bringing positivity into the community. Okay, well, thank you for that nice little message there at the ending. But yeah, the hate and toxicity from this community can be bad. And it really does get to me sometimes. I think a lot of it is just like, I mentioned earlier, like when people compare me to like Santi a lot, and it's like, I think people forget how long he's been playing compared to me. I think one of the comments was like, we both released a BQ video, and like in Santi's video, it's just him getting 4K after 4K, while basically he's just 4King like it's nothing. Whereas with me, I'm struggling just to even place down a mirror. and like people think it's like a little bit funny how it's just like I watch Santi to watch good gameplay, and I watch Zeez to see him suffer. It's like I don't know, but that's just like a small part of it. That's just like a man, I wish I was actually good at the game kind of thing. But like then there's actually just straight up very hateful and toxic people, and a lot of it is on TikTok. I would say for the most part YouTube is very welcoming, very, very friendly. There has been very little hate on YouTube. I would say like when it comes to hate comments, I would say like 1% of the comments I get are hate comments, maybe 2. But if I see like a clip on TikTok, and it's just like, but I've had multiple clips of TikToks just sent to me where it's just like, oh, Zeez has done this horrible thing, or Zeez is so annoying and he's so bad at the game. Why does anybody watch this guy? And it's just like, why is TikTok so mean, bro? That's all I can say. It's just TikTok being so mean. And it's like, it doesn't usually bother me, but sometimes they just like, they go a little bit too far. And it's just like, there's this group of people, there's like an inner circle or something where they all just like, they like support their own toxicity. And it's just like, for the people that are actually trying to like, you know, make a community better, it really hurts to like have like an entire dedicated like group of toxic people that are just like supporting each other and are like trying to tear down the ones who actually care while they try to frame themselves as the one who care. It's like, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't really have much else other to say on that. It does get to me, but it's not the support like eradicates it usually. It's like I'll be down when I see hate and toxicity, or when I get called annoying, or that my jokes are stale, or that my gameplay's bad. Like, yeah, that's gonna make me feel bad. But like I'll read some other comments about the people who actually care and the ones who are actually supportive, and even the ones who are just critical, but like are, you know, civil about it. Like I've gotten lots of constructive criticism by people like, hey, I don't think it's like you should be saying this, or like I don't think you should do this, or maybe you should do this instead. I'm not gonna, there's plenty of little examples out there, but like I really appreciate those comments, because like they're basically saying, here's how you can get better, here's where you're messing up, here's what I don't like about this. And it's like, okay, that's cool, because they're doing it in a civil manner. And that's what I really respect, is the people who can criticize something without just having to tear it down. That's the type of comments I appreciate a lot, is the constructive criticism that is like just very, very civil, and not just like straight up, you're wrong, do it this way, or perish. Next, we have some questions here from Stray Editori. They have been a very long time supporter of the channel and some of my other channels, so huge thanks to them. They always leave very long and engaging and fun to read comments, so huge shout outs to them. And you should definitely go check out their content as well. But they ask, first, is the charity stream project still on your radar? Not asking in an accusing sense, just curious if there's any news on that. So yeah, I really wanted to have the first stream take place in November. But ever since the tournament kind of news came around and other things happening IRL, I kind of had to push it back. And I kind of feel bad because there's like 4 main projects that I have to keep pushing back. And it's the charity stream, the OC showcase video, and the 2 big anniversary lore videos for the boat anniversary thing, and then the alchemy one. Yeah, that one. Those are 4 big projects that are all keep getting pushed back, and I really need to find time to do them. It's just been like IDV has just been relentless with the content recently, and there's been some stuff happening IRL with like recent news in America, and that has made things a little trickier as well. So yes, it is still in the plans. I just really need to get better at pushing myself to like, I need to take it off the back burner and put it like, start putting some of my other projects that I want to do aside and start working on those. So yes, those are still happening. I can confirm. I just don't know when exactly. Hopefully we can aim for December or January at the moment. That's all I can really say. Their second question is, would you recommend content creators to obscure their in-game name to avoid getting bullied/harassed like you experience sometimes? I'm trying to outweigh the risk of impersonation versus my own gaming comfort. Not that I'm experiencing anything, but you never know. That's a tough question. 'Cause the reason why I do like Zeez GYT, at least like when I first started playing IDV, it's like, okay, well, people are gonna see me in game, and like if I play 100 matches, and like I have a bunch of other people, how many people are gonna go to my channel after they see me playing the game? They're like, oh, there's a content creator. Let's go see what they're doing. You know, like maybe they recorded the match that I was in. Let me see how I played in their perspective. You know, and like that would get people curious about your channel. So that's like one of the reasons why I did it. For that, at least like in game, so people would, you know, it's like a free promotion for your channel basically. And I think like a lot of other content creators do it too. Like I know Santi does, Hikaru does, I think Zeus does sometimes. He changes his name a lot. But I guess if it's something that really concerns you, you could maybe do it. I don't really know though. I don't know if I have a good answer to that question. Cause I definitely do get like, there's definitely been some survivors and hunters out there that I recognize by name at this point that basically know that it's me, and they play their main and they only target me and they just kind of kill me, and it's kind of frustrating when I run into those players, because it's like I just want to play a normal match, and like when I get those players, it's just like, okay, here we go again, man, here we go. But it's really not that bad. It's more like I think when people see like the content, like the big content creator, they want to go their main to prove themselves, and it's like, oh, if I'm up against like big content creator, I gotta go my main. I gotta like have the best chance of winning that I possibly can. You know, I don't want to look stupid in a video, which I totally get. But at the same time, on my end, for a creator who's not even that crazy at the game, it can definitely be a little frustrating when people are like, I'm going all out on you in a quick match, and I'm just like, bro, I'm just trying to play freaking like Finn. I'm just trying to play Popcorn Finn, bro. I'm sorry, like my Finn's trash. Like, I'm sorry, I just want to play Popcorn Finn, bro. It's not even rank. It's just quick match. I don't know, dude. I mean, if it's something that you really want to be careful of, I'd say you can maybe go for it. But personally, I don't think I would ever do it. Next up, we have a question here from Jade. They say, have your opinions on some characters changed since watching the stage play? Yeah, this is absolutely yes. Obviously, the stage play does take some liberties, so it's not completely canon to IDV, and a lot of the characters aren't 100% accurate. But I think if you watch that corpse ride video they already talked about like 3 times, I would say Aesop 100%. It went from a character that I just didn't really care that much about to a character that I was like, oh my gosh, this character's amazing. Because the story that they tell through Aesop in that first Survivor side stage play was beautiful. It was so, and the thing is, it's long, so it's like a very long and engaging thing. And I still haven't even seen the rest of the stage plays. I've only seen one, so I really think like if people have the opportunity to watch the stage play, absolutely watch it. It is something that you will love, not just as a fan of IDV, but I feel like something that you just love as just a media, like as something to watch in general. Even if it wasn't just IDV for IDV fans, I think people would still have so much fun with it. Like I think Hikaru said he got into the game because of the stage plays. That's why he was interested in it, not because of the game itself. He watched the stage play first before the game, so like that's how you already know. Like he thought it was interesting even before he played the game. But yeah, to answer that question, yes, I think Embalmer is really, really cool, and I really, really like his character. And I didn't really care about him much before the stage play. Next up, we have a question here from Ozzy IDV, fellow content creator. Definitely make sure to go check them out. They make really, really funny content. They say, did my Seer owl deliver the popcorn in a timely manner? Yeah, dude, the popcorn was delicious. Thank you. You gotta give your owl a tip. Next up, we have a question here from Black Shorts. They ask, if not Melly or Ada, who would be your favorite survivor? Well, Ada's not really one of my favorites. I mean, I do like her a lot more after I started playing her, but I don't know if she's still in like my top 5 survivor favorites. But yeah, if Melly wasn't in the picture, let's say she was never a part of Identity 5, the channel would 100% be branded around Composer, without a doubt. Composer's my second favorite. I guess it's always going to be Melly. Composer is my 2 favorites. Number 3 is still kind of up in the air between like Nightwatch, Novelist, Journalist, and Antiquarian. I really like those characters a lot. Yeah, it's definitely Melly, Composer, my 1 and 2, definitely. So if Melly didn't exist, it'd be Composer. That's basically it. Next up, we have a question here from Ada Mill Roller Coaster Divorcee 198, and they ask, what can you say about your ability to jinx? Example, you sometimes say that this is the hunter and it is, or you don't have the dungeon near you and it's really not there. And how are you so good at it? Like, you manifest most of it right away. It's cause it's freaking me, bro. You know, that's the biggest funny if that was me joke all the time. Cause it's just, it never works out for me. Things never work out for me in this game. I always get like I always get cheese. I get cheese so often, bro. The amount of times I'm like heading to the exit gate and I'm playing with like Santi and he's like, I have dungeon. It's like, look at this guy has dungeon. And then it's like, I go to the dungeon, first location, not there. I go to the second location, not there. And it's the last location on the other side of the map. It's like, great, 50 seconds to detention. I have no items, time to make my way to the other side of the map, and I lose every time. Oh, but when it's Santi, he's always right on top of dungeon, bro. Always when it's Santi, man. He'll take a window vault, won't get TS. This guy just vaults and just doesn't even get hit. Like, what Santi has, I have the opposite. And for the final question of the Q&A, we have one here from Talia Scott. They say, how long do you think you will continue posting Identity 5 content? That's a great question. And basically until certain things are met, I guess. It's like either one, I start getting either bored of the game. Two, I feel like I've done all I really can with the game and I want to move on to other things, which I guess is kind of similar to one. Three, I get harassed / bullied / canceled for no reason because I know I'm a good person and I have nothing to be canceled for, but you never know. People will just believe things that people put online, so you never know. Maybe I'll just get falsely canceled, you never know. And then 4, I guess until IDV ends. It's probably one of those 4 things. So either I get bored, I want to move on to other projects, I get canceled, or whatever the 4th one I said was, I already forgot. Yeah. So there we go. I just filmed for about 2 hours, so I hope that answers a lot of your questions. I tried to do a whole lot in this video since I usually say, I'll do a part 2, and then I never do. So I just was like, what if I just did part 1 and part 2 in the same video? So, you know, I tried to answer as many as I could. There were a lot of repeat questions. I think I got to a lot of the big ones. I'm sorry about the people who asked like the more interesting or niche ones. I'm sorry I couldn't get to your questions. I did try to answer as many as I could, but I can't answer them all. I apologize. But yeah, thank you to everybody who submitted a question. I really do appreciate it that you would even take time out of your day to send me something like that and just even be slightly interested in things that I have to say or just stuff about the channel or IDV in general. It means a lot. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Like I said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching once again. Bye-bye.